Boys and girls, today we're going to read a book called The Boy Who Looked Like Lincoln. This book is written by Mike Reese and illustrated by David Cathro. Before we read this book, we talked a little bit about Abraham Lincoln and who he is. This book today is going to tell us a little bit about what Abraham Lincoln looked like. When we look at the setting, we'll notice that our main character is going to summer camp. Raise your hand if you've ever been to summer camp. What types of summer camps have you been to? Boys and girls, today we're going to learn about a different type of summer camp. It might not be something we've ever heard of, and it might be new to us. It might even sound a little bit silly. But this is the summer camp that our main character visits in the story. Our main character's name is Benji. This is Benji on our front cover. And when we take a look at the different characters on our cover, take a moment and think about what might be different about these characters. What might these characters tell us about our story? We know the title is called The Boy Who Looked Like Lincoln. So if we look at our title page, what might we learn about what this book is about? Boys and girls, without telling you who any of the characters are, because it would give the story away, we're going to go ahead and start to think about the pictures on the cover and what might be different about our characters. Boys and girls, if you look around the classroom, you'll notice that everybody is a little different. Some people might look a little different. Some people might speak a little different. And we all act a little bit different. Nobody is the same. In our story, we're going to learn about some differences that we notice in our characters and how it's okay to be different and that we should accept changes within each other. Before we go ahead and read, why don't you turn to a partner and whisper. Whisper to your partner what your prediction is, what you think is going to happen in this story today, The Boy Who Looked Like Lincoln. Turn to your partner and whisper. Alright, boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and start reading the story. We'll pause every once in a while and talk a little bit about what's happening in our story and make some predictions about what might happen next. The Boy Who Looked Like Lincoln. My name is Benji. I'm 8 years old. I look a lot like Abe Lincoln. Boys and girls, does it look like he's happy to look like Abe Lincoln? Do we think he might be happy or sad? People first noticed it when I was a baby. I guess I get it from my parents. Every birthday, I get the same gift. Boys and girls, what is this gift Benji receives? What do we see in the picture? What might this gift tell us about Abraham Lincoln? I even wear the dumb hat. Anything else looks silly on me. Fourscore and 7 teeth ago, in every school play, I have to be Lincoln, even if he's not in the show. But the worst part is the teasing. Boys and girls, does it look like he enjoys being teased? Hey, stinkin' Lincoln, split any rails lately? Why might this character have yelled split any rails? Who can tell me what this phrase means? What might rails have to do with Abraham Lincoln? So when school ended, I planned to spend the summer sitting in my room in the dark, but my parents had a surprise for me. Does it look like he wanted to spend the whole summer sitting in his room? Look, there are his parents peeking in. They took me to a camp, a special camp. If you read the words on the camp sign, it says, Camp Whatchamacallit, the camp for kids who look like things. Boys and girls, remember how before we started reading our book, we talked about different camps we've been to? Does Camp Whatchamacallit, a place for kids who look like things, sound like a normal camp we would go to every summer? There was a kid who looked like Mona Lisa, and a kid who looked like a frog, and one who even looked like a toaster. Boys and girls, what other characters do we see on our page? There are 4 more that we didn't talk about that I see. There was even a kid who looked like the back of a horse. I felt really bad for him. But after a while, you didn't even notice. Boys and girls, let's take a moment and make a prediction. How do you think Benji feels going to a camp where there are other children who feel different? Other children who look like things? Take a moment and whisper to your partner. How might you feel if you went to a summer camp with children who had the same differences as you? We had fun every day. And at night, I'd stay up late and read about Lincoln. He was a pretty cool guy. Boys and girls, how do you think Benji feels now after he's been called Lincoln for so long and was teased about looking like Lincoln? And now he's reading about Lincoln and says he looks like a pretty cool guy. How do you think he feels about this? I made a lot of friends this summer. And so did the kid who looked like a horse's butt. On the last day of camp, my parents picked me up. You look happy, said Dad. You need a haircut, said my mom. When I went back to school, I felt a lot better. Hey, Lincoln, what you thinking? I'm thinking how lucky I am to look like Abe Lincoln, our greatest president, who freed the slaves and won the Civil War and kept our country together, and the capital of Nebraska is named after him. How do you think Benji feels now to look like Lincoln? I guess your face is one thing that makes you special. I hope you like yours. I know I like mine. And I think it may have helped me get elected president this year. So boys and girls, take a moment and think about something new you've learned from this book. Think about the different emotions and feelings that Benji felt being teased at the beginning and how he might have felt towards the end of the book when he learned a little bit more about Abraham Lincoln at summer camp. Take a moment and whisper to your partner something new you learned. Who can raise their hand and tell me what part they liked best from the book? Why might you have liked that part best? How did it make you feel? Were any parts in the book surprising to you? Think about parts of the book that might have seemed a little strange or surprising. What message do you think the author wanted us to learn? And boys and girls, how do you think Benji felt from the beginning of the book to the end? Do you think his feelings changed or stayed the same?